Hey there, folks. Do you like your job? Maybe you don't even have a job, or maybe you love your job. As I got home from work today, I was thinking about the satisfaction I get from a job well done, whatever it may be. Um, I got a raise today, a $2 raise out of the blue. I didn't really expect it because I don't think my boss is going to keep his business going much longer, but I know he wanted to show, some gratitude, and I thought that was pretty cool. And it got me thinking about, you know, what money is really worth, so to speak, in the sense that even 10 years ago, I was working for someone else, but under my own license, and I was making like $10 more than I'm making now. And that's a pretty damn significant amount of money. I mean, if I'm working 40-hour weeks, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of extra money that I'm losing out on with that extra $10 an hour. At full time, that can be like 1,500, 1,600 bucks a month. And I'm a carpenter, by the way, and I have many other hobbies, interests, things that I do. And I was thinking about some of the things that I, for example, bought. I was just checking out my bicycles that I bought off Craigslist or off of from a garage sale, and they were like 20 bucks each. And then I got one from Goodwill, like a Trek limited edition Volkswagen that came with the Jetta, and that was like 40 bucks. But they're all like $300 or $400 bicycles. I could turn around and sell them. I just like got it home from Goodwill, and for $10 in the bins that you buy by the weight, I found a Audio Technica USB turntable, but not one of the crappy ones, but a good one. And the point here is that I know a lot of people sell things on eBay, on Craigslist, on Amazon, everywhere. Being a reseller, you can make really good money if you find stuff at thrift stores, and that can actually become a job, a career. It's something that I could do, but I don't have interest in. And that's why I was thinking about following your passions, the things that you like to do, and it's very hard. The guy that you can hear over there with the chainsaw, I don't know if that's a homeowner or somebody doing tree trimming, but I was thinking about the joy some people get from knowing that they're doing a hard job and a job well done. And you don't usually hear tree trimmers or people who, let's just say, do some of the more intense jobs that you would think people would hate. They like them. There's a certain value that comes with knowing that you bust your ass and that you're taking risks. I'm up on ladders all day using various power tools, nail guns, getting very close to blades, but it's part of what makes it such an exciting craft to me, because I know a lot of other people wouldn't be interested in that. They don't want to take risks like that. Hell, I'm a musician too. If I lost my fingers, oh my God, I can't imagine. And I've come pretty close on many saws many times. But once you complete a project, you can say, I've done that. To me, that's rewarding. Not to everyone. Some people have no interest in carpentry whatsoever, and that's good because it keeps the, slim pickings for the hiring. But it doesn't mean that you have to do some kind of a prestigious job that has a visual result. Many people have satisfaction from just doing jobs, even in the service industry, or in the many different kind of secondary industries that help other people that do really well, that make money. Maybe they help, serve brunches to, businessmen, or maybe you're the person who hosts events for big concerts. Feeling like you're part of something can be extremely rewarding. Like if you work with a crew of people and your job is to make people happy, walk away with a smile. Some people hate the service industry, but it's pretty awesome when you become regarded as a good server or even a good gas attendant, like I was. I had this guy come in one time in this nice car, and he told me, it's like, you're gonna go far. You could find it, a good job. You got a good head on your shoulders, and you're a hard worker. and you shouldn't be here working at this shitty gas station for minimum wage. And I was like, you're right, you know, but I was because part of it is the motivation to drive yourself and push yourself further. But it's more than that. It's not knowing which way to turn. I'm a man of many minds, and that's not a, you know, egotistical thing. I'm confused. I don't know what I want to do. I admire people who pick a career or a path or something they love and that they can just delve into it full blown. That's awesome. I mean, I guess I can do that to an extent, but as a carpenter, for example, I've told this story before, but there was circumstances that prevailed. My sciatica, my back pain got so bad I couldn't even do the work anymore, and I had to quit my career back in like 2010 or 12, I guess 12 or something, and then I didn't know what to do for a couple of years, and that's when I started my herb business, and I started selling KRATOM online, and then last year, or a little over a year ago, I was like, I need to get back in and do physical work. Well, a year before that, I started building guitars, and I have like 10 guitars hanging on my wall that are in various stages of completion. What it takes is a wild hair up my ass to get up there and finish it. I really do have the passion, the know-how, and the willpower to do it. It just comes in waves. And so what I'm getting at here is that if you find a job you can do where you have a passion for that job, stick with it. Because, you know, but also, even if you don't really have a full passion for what you do, you know, I think this is important to clear up. Everybody wakes up in the morning sometimes and says, I don't want to do this. Even if you're an artist and all you do is create and you paint, maybe your thing is making music. You know, a lot of people say, I'd love to be a musician. Do you know how painful it is to be a musician when you don't want to write music and you have to? Yeah, I can imagine that would kind of take some of the love away. Most musicians won't admit that, but deep in their hearts they know that there's something that's lost. The magic is lost when you commercialize what you do. And that's why I've always been reluctant to want to, you know, I played in a couple bands with my brother, but I never really practiced. I'm not that good. I played bass then, and I also play guitar, and I'm sure some of my subscribers, I have a playlist of Carpo songs that I've written, and, you know, most of them are pretty cheesy, but I do it because I love it, and I don't want to lose that love. Carpentry, on the other hand, I don't think I would lose my love of carpentry just because I'm doing carpentry all the time, because there are so many different phases to construction. But ultimately, I'm going to have to find something new, something different. What am I going to do? You know, what kind of passion can I push forward? To be honest, what I'm doing right now, sitting here talking with people online, or talking to people, sorry, and listening to the feedback, having conversations is what I really want to do. I want to turn my channel into something where I can interview people, interesting people, or just people in general. It doesn't have to be famous people. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in just hearing the average person's story. And so maybe some of you could come along with me on that journey if you want to have a chat. But I'm going to do that for my podcast and also for the channel. But I haven't wanted to do it yet because I want to continue to enjoy doing YouTube for my reasons. That, to me, I would love to make a living off of it, but I feel like maybe that would taint what I say. How many YouTubers do you know? And I hate the term YouTubers, but there are just so many channels on YouTube that everyone's aware of. How many channels have you seen that have just really gone downhill lately in the last year or so? Horrible sponsorships with companies that are garbage. Horrible timing on their sponsorships. And perhaps those sponsorships take up like 4 minutes out of a fucking 10-minute video. I mean, some of them are really bad. But, you know, constant bombardment with advertisements and merchandise. I get people want to make money, but that's not what I'm here for. And it makes me kind of torn because I'd like to make money off of this. I'd like to talk about life, hone in my skills, And I only bring this up because it really relates to talking about having a passion for a career. Sometimes I think, I just want to talk to people, but how do I turn that into money? And I need money to survive. So, I continue doing the labor that kills my back. But there's a satisfaction that comes with that too. Knowing that I'm not just making money passively or without taking action. And I guess that's what I was getting at with the YouTube thing. People get lazy, they get dependent on their views and likes. They start changing what they say and self-censoring in order to not talk about controversial topics. Like, you even say the word racism or sexism or rape. All three of those words just put my video in a totally different category where it won't get promoted at all, even if it ever would have. By saying any of those words, you basically just, So you see these, subtitles that are blanked out and they beep out the words, and I just feel like everything's so fucking plastic right now that you can't get any real talk out of anyone. So shame on those guys. The guys who had a lot of potential to actually share a lot of good information. The guys who do make, thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a month off of their revenue through YouTube, and yet still think that making, a 20-minute video once a week is worth the millions, and that people should understand that they need their sponsorships. And I've seen YouTubers break down how much money they get paid. It can be a few hundred, it can be a few thousand, it can be tens of thousands of dollars to do a sponsorship ad for people. I mean, if you're really, famous, the Jenners or something, you can get like up to $100,000 or more for one Instagram post with some makeup brand. It's fucking crazy. It's bad. And I say bad in the sense of bad for people, bad for reality, and so anyway, how that ties into the jobs thing is that a lot of young people these days want to be, quote, YouTubers, or be famous, or forbid be influencers. Now, here's the thing I want to make clear. Being an influencer is not a job. If you influence people, it should be because you are worth influencing people, that you have done enough research on a topic. For example, philosophers should be influencers because they know what they're talking about. If you're a carpenter, you may be a house influencer or a building influencer, but you can't just be some fucking dumb 20-year-old kid who's never had any real upbringing, jump on the internet and, say, well, since I have a big following, I'm an influencer. And you are, but you have no life experience to influence with. And I think that's why we're in the problem we're in, is because so many people think that making free money on the internet is a job. And I would urge young people to look for a passion. Be one of the smart ones. Don't just think that the internet's always going to be here for you to make cash on. Actually, or Bitcoin, or NFTs, or, I've argued with people about NFTs and they said it's going to be the next big thing. Crickets today. It's not about being right. It's about saying, God damn it, can't people stop being stupid? We need more tradesmen. We don't have enough carpenters. It's hard to find good plumbers, electricians that, work for a decent wage. The reason why they're so expensive is because there aren't enough of them. And for certain jobs in certain places, you can be waiting months to have somebody come out and help you with the project. So there is a huge market, and there's a satisfaction that comes with going and talking with the client and saying, okay, we can do this, or working with a boss or on a project, and everybody works together to build a house or to do a landscaping job, whatever it might be. And it takes physical work, but that's something that people strive for. Physical labor. They don't realize it, especially men. Maybe, not women as much, but some women like physical labor. Most men want to work hard and to know that they've, at least built a little muscle by the end of the day. And I think that this is part of the problem, is all of the office jobs that we've developed. It's got to be so depressing to go to an office and sit in a cubicle all day. It's totally unnatural. And I can see why that would be a major factor in people not being satisfied with their jobs. But this is changing too. A lot more remote work, which some people are saying, well, remote work, people should get back to work. Look, times do change. I get this, and everyone should. People are actually more productive if they work 4 or 5 hours a day at home than if they work an 8-hour day at the office. So you can pay them less and still get the amount of work done that you need. This is proven over and over. People spend, like, on average, 25% of the day by office workers is wasted on checking their phones, looking on the internet, going to Google, YouTube, or just hanging around the water cooler, whatever it might be. It's not a bad thing. Hell, every time I've worked in some industry-like job, it was like that. But working with one guy doing carpentry, we don't take breaks. Even though I'm legally entitled to 2 breaks a day, I don't feel the need to, because I'm going at a pace and I'm in an environment that's conducive to the way I want to live. And so I can just continue working and feel good about it. And I just want that for everyone. It's not that my job is perfect. Like I say, I get up in the morning and I don't want to go to work. I rarely want to go to work. But by the end of the day, I'm glad I went. And it's because I'm getting those, that engine flowing as the day goes on, keeping the body in motion, right? This perpetual state of work and rest can become repetitive and overwhelming. And there's a whole new kind of mentality, especially in the younger generation, that a lot of people don't want to work. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to work. No pun intended. You can't just not work. Every animal works. Your forefathers busted their ass to get where we're at, and a lot of people lost their lives fighting for fair wages and unions and things like that. And for us to just throw that away and say, oh, I just don't want to work, that's just laziness. We need to work, but we need to do something that means something to us. And if the jobs are mindless and soulless and soul crushing, then we will continue to say, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather do something else. I'd love to just hang out every day and be an artist, just talk about life and not have to worry about money. But would I be happy? I don't know. If I had all the money I needed and I could just do this all day, I'd probably get bored as hell. I still want to build. I still want to do things. So when I go to work, I think of it as kind of working for myself as well as working for someone else. Building my own character. Not just filling someone else's pocket, because I know he's struggling too. It's not a big corporation. It's me and a guy who has one tiny house building business. And we build really high quality tiny houses, but we put all our love into them and often don't get any profit. He barely makes as much as I do. So in the end, you try to do something meaningful. Hopefully you work for a meaningful company. I think that's one of the big things. Working for people who mean well, that you feel are doing the right thing. And I'm not talking about greenwashing. Oh, we've got paper straws and we care about the environment. No, all that's just a bunch of bullshit. We all know it now. But companies that really do care, who really do the right thing. Few and far between. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. Hope you have a good job. And if you don't, I hope that you'll find one. And if you can't, then good luck to you. Maybe you could do your own thing, work for yourself. If you're young, you got no excuse. If you're a teenager or in your 20s, you have endless horizons available. And don't rely on technology to make ends meet. Use it. It's a tool that needs to be used. But just don't think of it as the be-all, end-all. I can only leave you with this. Whenever I think about, what I really need to know in life, I think, if I lost everything, my house burned down and I was thrown out on the street naked, literally, with nothing, how would I fare? And I think that's a question that everyone should ask themselves. How would I fare if I lost everything I own and my identity? That would include, maybe let's just say theoretically for the purpose, your hair burned off, your beard, whatever you've got, any identifying marks, or hairdos or clothing, you're just a naked person that needs help. And there's a certain character building exercise there, really thinking about that for me, to try to understand how I would deal with it, and I think I would do just fine. As long as I keep that in mind, I'll be alright. So will you. Peace out. Thanks for listening. I suppose I could have turned this into a podcast, but I feel more focused on video. It's weird. It is a podcast. It's just a video podcast. This video's sponsor is brought to you by nature. As usual, I have no sponsors. I will not accept the offers I get from these companies that want me to sell you a stupid Raid Shadow Legends video or some crappy, product that you'll never use. But I do accept PayPal donations or through Patreon if you want to be a patron, which has access to my playlists about psychedelics and whatnot. And that's patreon.com/Carpo719. And other than that, I think I've covered all the bases. And thanks for listening. This is all off the cuff, by the way. I don't have notes or papers. I'm sure there's a lot I missed. And I'm going to leave it up to you all to add that in the comments. That's what it's all about, these discussions. We all have to work somehow. We want to be fulfilled in that work. How can we make it better for all of us? Peace.